All right, guys, well, we are back in the garage for what honestly feels like the first bike build in quite a long time. This is only the second bike build of 2026 for me, but it is one that I'm very excited about. And I think that this is going to be my most expensive build yet. We're going full XTR in this thing. We even got a Fox Neo wireless seat post. So this thing's gonna be pretty blinged out. I'm really looking forward to it. We're gonna be building up the Ari Signal Peak. So this is technically their XC bike. So it's marketed 110 rear travel, 120 in the front. I'm gonna be putting a 130 fork on here. I'll be using this as sort of a lightweight trail bike because my 140, 150 bike I have built up with, you know, pretty heavy enduro casing tires. I got a rim pack, chain damper on there. It's more of an enduro bike than it is a trail bike. So this Signal Peak build today is going to be kind of like my more daily trail bike that, you know, is just a little bit more efficient out there. So really looking forward to get this thing together. So without further ado, let's drop right into this bike build. We've got the frame unwrapped now and all the parts laid out, and I gotta be honest, it's pretty trippy tossing the Neo post in there and knowing that I'm not gonna have to take it back out again to do the internal cable routing. So that is much appreciated. And then between that and the Di2 XTR, I feel like this build should be pretty smooth sailing, not having to do much internal cable routing despite the rear brake. So I set a stopwatch, we'll see how long this build takes. But yeah, frame unwrapped, looks super good. I think you'll be able to tell on camera, this is sort of raw carbon underneath the Ari there, which looks great. And then obviously white for the main frame. And we just got kind of all their little touches in here. But yeah, super clean, subtle colorway. I really enjoy it. And then for parts, we've obviously got the Kashima Neo post, so I'll move this box for you guys. We're gonna do the 36 SL in orange. And then, let's see here, I've got, yeah, these guys kicking around. We're gonna do some orange grip clamps that have a little bit of a flash of color in there. We're actually gonna run this sort of gray race face Chester grip, kind of run with those muted tones, and then the XTR is going to be gray as well. So I think the whole build should look pretty snazzy once it's all together. We went for the size large frame, so 470 reach, 110 travel in the back, and we're going to toss a 130 fork on this guy. And for another splash of color, I just found these air bars with this orange logo, which should look pretty good. And just quick here, before I toss music on and drop into this build, I just wanted to mention I do have something new going on with Ari. So if any of you guys are interested in any Ari bike, please shoot me an email through my website. I'll have the URL on the screen right now and linked in the description. And I have a friends and family discount code for you guys that can save you a couple $100 on a bike. So really nice of Ari to offer that to you guys. So without waiting any longer, let's go ahead and get the Signal Peak put together. Some new dreams and a sexy mama. Oh, I see, let's play. The sky is blue, oh fine, we've been dreaming of this for a while. The sun is shining, blinding, swimming in this place of mine. Help me out, pass that blood, my God. We're all on a quest to climb, and we're all on our way. Couple days I'm playing in the man on the beach cooling out. Asking myself, are you happy? And I might think this is the route. The things I thought I needed, please. Found my peace, so ain't no turning back. Whoa. The days, the weeks, the time, it all seems to go. It's okay, I would say, relax in the moment, you know. Been living what I dream, been running in the dream, huh? Let's play. The sky is blue, oh finally been dreaming of this for a while. The sun is shining. Cockpit and fork install is all wrapped up. So we have the 36 SL on here, looking good. 130 mil travel instead of the 120 that this bike comes stock with. We have the Era SL stem. This is a pretty cool stem. If I bring you guys around to the side here, it's actually flippable. So I have it in the +6 position. And then on top of the bearing cover there, we've just got 20 mils of spacers. We got that guy at +6, and we have a 40 mil rise Era bar. So how did I end up at that cockpit setup? Well, for today's build, I actually used ChatGPT to generate me an estimated cockpit setup. And that might make some of you cringe, which is super valid. I did this in a pretty scientific method. I'm not saying that it's perfect, but it should be in a close ballpark. If you're curious about how I use ChatGPT to run some of those numbers, let me know in the comments below. Happy to make a video about it and breaking down you know, how accurate it is and just how I use it. So regardless, that is why I have the cockpit setup that I do right now. And then outside of my AI adventures, we've got the XTR levers looking really, really nice. On this side, we have the XTR Di2 shifter mounted up. And over here, we have the Neo lever mounted up as well. Tons of adjustability built into this thing in terms of just like a mount you can slide it back and forth, which I thought was pretty cool. And then we've got the Chester grip in the gray with that orange clamp looking nice and the orange bar logo looking good as well. So next steps here, I think we'll toss on the shock, do some cranks, toss some wheels on, and just about gonna have a bike.
Pressure on me, walking, ain't no stressing, you see. They're saying what they're saying, I'm just saying, get no.
Well, we are about 3 hours in now, but the bike is a good portion of the way there. So just went ahead, got the brakes hooked up. Haven't bled them yet though. I'll chat about that in a second. We've got the shock on and the cranks on. I'm actually pretty psyched on this XTR Chainring. I've not run one of these yet. Thought the silver looked pretty nice. So yeah, all in all, bike is looking good. You will have seen me go ahead and toss some mastic tape under those pads. Just make sure everything is nice and quiet. And then my reasoning for why I haven't bled these brakes yet is I've been kind of messing around with a few different bleed techniques on these new Shimano brakes. So I've also got these over here on the downhill bike that is very dark, so I apologize. And they've been really great. I'm a huge fan, especially running the new brake with the new rotor here. So this is the thicker 2.2 rotor. Feels really, really nice. But I'm gonna try to bleed these today just with the pads and rotors installed from the top with the cup, see how that goes. And if that doesn't work how I'm hoping for, I have a few different ideas, but that's why I didn't bleed them with blocks before tossing the pads in. So next step is going to be tossing some wheels on this thing and then putting the drivetrain together really quick, and we're gonna have a bike. It's also 90 degrees and super humid, surprisingly, for southern Utah today, but yeah, Spindrift, blood orange here, getting me through this bike build. Just a quick little note on the tire setup. I haven't been using just like my standard little inflator chuck there to set tires. I've actually been noticing, I've done this for a while, so I haven't talked about it, using one that's more for a car, kind of like this guy here, gives you quite a bit higher airflow, and it allows the tires to seat super well. So I will have just tossed those clips on the screen for you guys with raw audio so you can hear how well they just seated up. Your tire rim combination will make a difference, but I find you get a little bit higher air volume out of one of these as opposed to a more bike pressed specific one like this. And then of course, taking your valve core out makes a big difference as well. In, most of the way done now. Got the wheels mounted up, looking good. I went for the Michelin, let's see, let's flip this around for you guys. Michelin, here we go, Wild AM2s. So I rode these on my Delano 140, 150 trail bike, which I kind of sent it on. That's this bike, which I showed earlier in the video. So I rode this tire earlier in the year on that bike. It was just a little light for that, but I think it's going to be absolutely perfect for this bike. I've also got the Race Face Era SL wheels. First time running this wheel, and they look really nice. They have a cool kind of the same anvil edge that the Turbines have, which has been great for preventing flats. I've had really good luck with all the Race Face rims, so super excited about the wheel setup. Everything is looking good. So now we're just going to go ahead, wrap up the drivetrain here. Got to bleed these brakes, and we're going to have a bike.
I've eaten the body of the Lord. It's from the fountain of good fortune. Springs dirty, cloudy water that pollutes the mind of anyone around.
Alright guys, and just like that, we have a complete bike. Really pumped on how this thing is looking, and I am especially stoked on how I got these brakes feeling. So what I did is I just tossed the cup on the top there, just to get any air out of the lever. And then I tossed the syringe on the caliper here with the wheel in. And then I just added some oil pressure to that caliper so I can get a nice tight bite, which is exactly what I look for in a brake. So that's definitely not how Shimano recommends how to bleed these things. Traditionally what I do is I would bleed them at the lever and then advance the pistons to get the lever feel I was looking for. But that wasn't working as well with the new brakes as it did with the old Shimano brakes. So I was chatting with some athletes who run these, as well as some athletes who run some other brands, just kind of going over some of their bleed techniques to get the feel they were looking for. A few people recommended adding the oil pressure to the caliper there, so I gave it a shot today, and it's been good. We'll see how it does kind of with fading over time, but just wanted to walk you guys through that, just kind of something I'm experimenting with, so might not be doing it long term, but just kind of figured I'd explain it. Also really excited about how the cockpit is looking on this bike. This is my first bike with just having the two brake lines, which I think looks super clean, and that white S-clip blends in nicely with the frame. So super stoked on that. First time for me setting up the Neo post, which was super straightforward. And the Shimano stuff is super easy to connect with the app as always. So yeah, that is the complete bike. So there we have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this Signal build. And just as a reminder, if you're interested in any of the Ari products, shoot me an email through my website and I can hook you guys up with a deal. Thank you guys so much for watching and for the continued support. And if you have any questions on anything about this bike, drop a comment below. I'll be sure to get back to you, and we'll catch you next week for another upload. And one last thing, shout out to you if you're this deep in the video. That took 5 hours and 34 minutes, which for the build and for the filming, I'm pretty stoked on. So shout out to you for making it this deep in the video, and we'll see you next week for another one. Peace.